Our next story is about Volkswagen, the German automobile giant. Most of you will be familiar with the company or its host of subsidiaries like Audi, Porsche and Skoda. All these brands are part of the Volkswagen Group, making it both a German and European institution. But this grand company is currently in a world of hurt. And yesterday it did the unthinkable. The CEO announced that he wants to close some car plants in Germany. And this is unprecedented. It has never happened before in the group's 87-year-long history. In fact, Volkswagen has not closed a plant since 1988, since it shut a facility in the US state of Pennsylvania. That was in 1988. So what has prompted this turn of events? Why is Volkswagen closing or thinking of closing down its factories, and that too in Germany? Well, it's a combination of factors which have merged into the perfect storm. The biggest reason is the rise of Chinese electric vehicles, EVs. As you know, EVs are everywhere these days. The electric craze started with Tesla, but soon the industry came under Chinese dominance with brands such as BYD, NIO, SAIC Motors and the rest. The Chinese EVs are everywhere these days, and that has hurt Volkswagen in two ways. One was the Chinese market. Before the rise of these EV giants, China used to be Volkswagen's single biggest market. But then BYD and others started growing, and Volkswagen's share of the Chinese market started shrinking. Profits dipped, growth stagnated, Volkswagen's share prices started tanking. It was chaos. But this was just the first blow. The second was the growth of Chinese brands in Europe. The EV craze has hit every part of the world, and Europe is no different. Electric cars and hybrid sales keep growing. They make up 25% of all European car sales. They made up 25% of all European car sales last year. This would have been challenging enough for Volkswagen, having to transition from petrol and diesel to EVs. But then came the Chinese brands. They clawed their way into the European market, and they keep growing, taking away the share of traditional European auto giants like Volkswagen. So it's a double blow. Volkswagen is losing both China and Europe to the Chinese brands because of the new electric vehicle craze. Now, you would think Volkswagen should do better. It should get with the program and start churning out EVs. Well, it did. And that has become another problem for them. Volkswagen and its arsenal of subsidiaries all invested in EVs. It was a tough market, already dominated by early movers like Tesla and the Chinese companies. But the Europeans knew that EVs were the future, so they went ahead, and it has been tough. They cannot produce their cars as cheaply. They have to pay European wages after all. So European EVs are more expensive than their Chinese counterparts. And this is a price-sensitive segment, often subject to price wars between Tesla and the Chinese firms. So the Europeans kept ending up as collateral damage. To counter this, some of these European companies like Volkswagen decided to make in China to bypass the European wage problem. So they invested in Chinese plants and began manufacturing in China. But then came another blow: European tariffs on EVs from China. The EU, the European Union, is putting tariffs up to 38% on EVs made in China. Any cars made in China will face this tax of up to 38%. And this includes cars made by European brands like Volkswagen. So it seems that no matter what they did, they could not win. Now combine all of this with the bigger picture, the state of the European economy. Europe has been struggling for years now. First, there was the Wuhan virus pandemic, then the Russia-Ukraine war. Both have hammered the European economy. Growth has stagnated. Germany, in particular, is in the doldrums. It keeps hovering around a recession. Every month seems worse than the last. And Germany is supposed to be Europe's growth engine. If the engine is busted, how will the economy run? How will people make money? How will they afford cars? So it's no surprise that European car sales are down overall. Volkswagen was already dealing with sluggish demand at home, and now the whole EV debacle. It has been one blow after another, and the German giants are finally throwing in the towel. They want to shut plants at home and lay off workers, something they had promised to not do till at least 2029. But now they want to break that promise because the situation is just that bad. Volkswagen is in a race against time. It has to cut about $11 billion in costs, $11 billion in the next 2 years. That is its grand plan to survive the transition to EVs. So expect more potential closures and layoffs. These are just the first casualties of the rise of the EV age.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Let's start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost